Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Namo sadanto suchedoye olahudi sammiao sanputoshe. 无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered, even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. Good evening, everyone. My name is Heng Sure. Tonight is our third lecture for the Chan session at City of 10,000 Buddhas, our Chan 开示. And welcome. 各位阿弥陀佛，今天晚上是万佛商城大禅期第三个晚上的禅期开始。Let's move forward to acknowledge country. We want to say that the Chochenyo Ohlone people practice their spiritual connections to the earth and to all creation here on their ancestral and unceded lands for thousands of years. And today we acknowledge them as the traditional custodians of the lands on which we learn, live, work, and where all activities take place. We recognize all First Nations peoples as the original storytellers of these lands. We offer our respect to their elders past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 好的，那我们就开始了就说第一呢，要表示感恩我们今天晚上很多人的手，很多人的心，很多人的这个义工，就发心帮忙出力就把这个讲座圆满。有朋友翻译越南话，如果大家想听越南话，我们有办法那个 chat box 里边都有另外一个 Zoom 这个地址，你可以click， 然后可以听到越南话的翻译。I'd like to express my gratitude to all the different hands and hearts and volunteers who have put their time and effort into making this lecture series a success, into volunteering to translate the words I'm speaking into Vietnamese, for example. There is a link in our chat box. If you would like to hear a Vietnamese translation of my talk, please click on that link and we will be able to serve you. We're grateful for that help. Also for all the folks who are following along with this, with the talks that I'm giving, who are interested in finding out more about Chan meditation. 还有这个应该说感恩哪一位就说参加参听我们这3个晚上的讲座，这是大家对于打坐参禅感兴趣我知道在线上有我们听众里边有不少的人是老修行，就说是禅盒子，就已经用功很多年了。还有一些人他们是初学，刚刚开始；还有一些人就对于这个打坐参禅就稍微感兴趣，没有什么经验，不过呢想试一试。所以因为这个关系，所以呢我所讲的题目呢是比较广泛，不能深入免得有一些人就说哎我听不懂什么意思所以我还是如果你听过今天的一些所讲的道理呢，那么不妨再听这个佛法呢是我相信就是 法不孤起，拼愿放生，就因为遇到种种的因缘，才有机会听听所以如果是对机的话，那我们就说有缘了。Now, tonight, my topic is the third night talking about Chan meditation. And I know in our audience tonight, there's all kinds of folks, all different potentials. Some of you are truly seasoned cultivators. Some of you have been meditating for years and years. Others are, their practice is underway, but they're still beginners. And then there are folks who are just listening because of curiosity, who might want to try it a little later in their life, but they just want to hear more about it. So with that in mind, because there is such a variety of potentials here, my talk has to be relatively simple. I can't go deeply into this topic just because I don't want to leave people behind. And if you are one of those experienced cultivators, then please be patient and see whether there might not be something more that you can learn by listening in once again and hearing these principles and practices explained. All right? 好的。那么我们已经到了什么时候？就是圣诞节Holiday season。这个圣诞节呢，在我人现在在加州就是我们这里是星期天晚上。我知道在中国在澳大利亚在台湾在新加坡马来西亚那个越南已经是星期一中午所以我们时间不同日子不同没关系了，我们还算是节日这个 Winter Christmas holidays。在美国这个节日这个 holiday 是跟在中国那个过年可以比的这个过年是有10天了，什么都停止了，在过年那个时候大家不上班每天有不同的活动，有固定的那个衣服要新的，吃的东西呢要特别准备等等。那我们西方国家西方文化圣诞节 Christmas 没有那么长，不过呢有类似的情形。最重要是什么呢？就是一种布施，一种慈善，一种应该说童年这种的天真无邪的态度，是这个时候的重要气氛。So we have reached, as people know, this is a bilingual lecture series. So hope you don't mind my switching back and forth. We have reached Christmas, the Christmas holidays, and here in the West. Now, it's Sunday night here in California, and in China, in Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, New Zealand, it is Monday. It's midday on Monday, but it's still considered holidays. This is the holiday season. And in the countries of the West, my goodness, Christmas is a big deal. If we had to compare it to anything, it would be comparable to New Year's, lunar New Year's in Asian countries, which I have had the experience of enjoying on several occasions. And the thing about Chinese New Year's, Lunar New Year's, is, 10 days. Every day has a different important activity. You get new clothes, you clean the house. Elders give money to children. There's food that you eat on certain days, things like that. So it's bigger in magnitude, and things stop during Lunar New Year's. In the West, Christmas is not that way. It's not as long, but there is something very special about Christmas in countries of the West, which is an attitude of generosity, an attitude of innocence, and kind of a return to a childlike wonder. So it's no accident that this is the time when we practice Chan meditation. It also has to do with the phenomenon of the solstice. The winter solstice, we have the fewest hours of light, the longest hours of darkness. During that time, people, humanity, spontaneously reaches for the light. Some species go into hibernation. They just hide and wait for the light to return. But humans, we generate the light with candles, with all the different holidays. Amitabha we celebrate Amitabha before the Chan. Amitabha means limitless light, 无量光. The Hindu celebration of Diwali, and Nowruz, and all of these different, in Islam, all these different celebrations have to do with wishing for the return of the light. So in Chan, we sit still and put all our energy into our midsection, into our mind. And often that light is compared to something called a pearl, a wish-fulfilling pearl, a 如意珠, as an analogy for the light that we are hoping to preserve and build in expectation of the return of the sun, bit by bit, day by day, returning to the summer solstice. OK， 这个为什么在这个时候，这个节日，我们就打坐呢？参禅，这是有道理。很多文化，全世界的文化，在这个时候冬至那个时候，我们就等光明回来。这个冬至就说白天的时间最短，黑暗的晚间最长，就是我们地球绕着太阳一个大自然界的现象，是不是？在这个时候，很多文化、很多宗教都期待光明回来。就我们佛教的阿弥陀佛，汉传佛教有阿弥陀佛，什么意思呢？无量光，无量光，那尊佛，我们就念他的圣号，观想他的无量光明。这个印度教呢，有他们的 Diwali， 就是光明的节日这个那个伊朗的文化 Persian culture， 中东有 Nowruz 一样的，就是庆祝光明所以呢，就是说我们人类到那个这个白天这个时间最短的时候，我们都要保留光明就是好像希望那个光明会打破黑暗。怎么做呢？打坐。我们打坐的时候，观想这个光明，保留我们回光。这个有个比喻是什么呢？就是智慧宝珠，如意珠。那我们就用什么来解释呢？我们就用证道歌，永嘉大师证道歌。怎么说呢？但得般莫求莫，如今琉璃汉宝月，岂能借此如意珠？自利利他终不竭。Once you get the root, you can let the branch tips be. Like like a jeweled moon that shines in lapis lazuli. Now that you have understood this wish-fulfilling gem, your benefits to self and others truly never ends. Now, as I translated, I said, now that you have understood this wish-fulfilling gem, another colloquial way to say it in English would be, now that you have brought to light this wish-fulfilling gem. Okay, there it is. Let's take a look here. What is it? 当得本 only get the root, the foundation. 莫求莫 don't worry about the branch tips. If you can get the foundation, the root, the fundamental, the branch tips take care of themselves. 如镜琉璃含宝月 just like pure lapis lazuli that holds a jeweled moon. What's that? If people have seen lapis lazuli, it's colored blue, and it's a blue stone, but it has flecks of gold in it. It's just spectacularly beautiful. And sometimes the gold looks like the pattern of a moon. That's what Master Yongjia is referring to here. So once you get the root, let the branch tips be, just like this piece of lapis lazuli, which holds a beautiful golden moon. 技能解词如一珠 Once you can explain and understand and bring to light the wish-fulfilling pearl, there it is. There's our source of light. 自利利他终不竭 Benefiting yourself and helping others out never runs dry. What's this about? Take a look. Themes here, lapis lazuli, the wish-fulfilling gem, the root, and the branch. So lapis lazuli, as we know, is 就是说我们当得本，你一拿到这个本，根本就是心，意思就是心，那就不用担心其他那个末梢自己都会从那个根本就流露出来了。好像什么？好像琉璃，那个琉璃是宝石，蓝色你们看过吧？这个跟药师佛有关的。这个蓝色的、深蓝色的一只宝石，都会有好像黄金的这个 pattern 在里边。有的时候你看它就像一个月亮的这个球月的样子。你能明白这个如意宝珠你自己能帮助自己，其他人都能利益就没有完了就无穷尽的办法。那个时候，所以意思是说，清凉果实不是清凉果实，是这个永嘉大师希望我们都可以明白这个如意宝珠。So, here's our Song of Enlightenment. It's Christmas time, and I'm going to give you a Christmas gift. Haha. 证道歌讲打坐参禅，讲什么呢？如意珠，如意宝珠。我们到了圣诞节，我准备送各位每一个人送你们一个圣诞节的礼物，你们愿意收吗？希望你们愿意接受。什么道理呢？琉璃、如意珠，还有这个本末作用。好了，琉璃就是跟药师佛，我们已经讲了。如意珠呢是什么？中文叫如意宝珠，也叫 see here, there we go. 亲达玛尼摩尼宝珠，也叫摩尼宝、玛尼宝、摩尼宝珠、如意摩尼、如意宝、如意珠、无价之宝、无价珠等很多名词，是讲什么呢？这个东西呢，这个很有意思。师父呢，他在传42手言， 观世音菩萨的法宝，第一那个首先是如意宝珠。所以呢，我们看观世音菩萨，他也有摩尼宝。地藏王菩萨他手里拿着这个如意宝珠。我们看到中国人画的龙王的画，我们都会看到这个宝珠。龙王总是分不开离不开他们的宝贝，这他们最宝贵的东西是这个如意宝珠。所以呢，就是说这个东西很奇妙，实在是有，那跟打坐参禅跟我们佛教修行有什么关系呢？ So let's take a look here. There's the gift that I'm going to give you is some more knowledge about this thing called the lapis lazuli. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. This thing called the wish-fulfilling gem. Last week was what? Last week was the wisdom sword, or Vajra sword, wasn't it? Because that just pops up in the Song of Enlightenment. Well, there's another Fabao that also pops up, and I want to share what the Song of Enlightenment tells us about this thing called the wish-fulfilling pearl. Let's look at the screen here. It's also called a Chintamani. It's also called a Mani treasure, a Mani jewel, a Mani gem, a Mani pearl. Mani is this magical substance that the Dharma talks about. It's called a wish-fulfilling Mani, wish-fulfilling jewel, pearl. It's also called a priceless jewel. So here is a phenomenon. Last week was the wisdom sword. This week is the Mani jewel. 我们上个礼拜不是讲那个智慧宝剑吗？不知道各位呢，有没有谁这个礼拜你们打坐的时候能举起来我们智慧宝剑呢？有没有能运用呢？把它斩断妄想，有没有？哈，那希望有办法。Okay, now Master Jinyong is asking me, why am I using lapis lazuli instead of Viduria? Good question. Viduria. There we go. So there is, I chose not to go into the various arguments. There is some question among scholars as trying to identify Liu Li. Viduria is, let's see, how did we spell it there? You had the Viduria. Let me see if I can copy that, paste it here. There we go. We'll get the correct Sanskrit. There we go. We got the right Sanskrit diacritics. Okay, I'll just point to it because that's a inconclusive argument about who's right. Is it Viduria? Is it lapis lazuli? Is it something called beryl? An element called beryl? That's another, some people identify it as beryl. So honestly, it doesn't matter because we don't know what Viduria is. We don't know what lapis lazuli is in the Buddhist description of it. We do know this. We do know that both Buddhism and Hinduism recorded this thing called a jewel that would follow our wishes and transform. 刚刚金勇士问我，他说怎么不用Viduria 这个话，这个字呢？因为学者就不同意，他们有不同的看法。到底琉璃是什么？琉璃是什么？是 lapis lazuli 还是Viduria 还是 beryl？ 不同的看法。我觉得入那一种讨论呢，就我们可能没有时间讲旁的我们就说过去古来的人就说有这么一个宝珠它是就在这个正道歌有 提到琉璃，重要在我们打坐，能运用，就是说我能送各位这个礼物呢，就是如意珠。所以 Vaidurya 也对 ，Beryl 也对 ，Lapis Lazuli 也对，三个我们也不太清楚到底是什么。我们打坐这个法宝实现，我们会接受修成了这个如意珠呢，那我们自然而然，无师自通就知道哪个对。Okay, so instead of spending our time discussing the various reasons why it could be lapis lazuli, it could be Vaidurya, it could be beryl, I would like to instead simply point to the debate and say the jury is still out. There's still a question about what it is. The important thing is that in cultivation of the way, Master Hua identified this wish-fulfilling gem and said, if we can cultivate and realize it, we will know ourselves without the benefit of a teacher, whether what to call it. The important thing is to know that this phenomena exists both in Buddhism and in Hinduism. It's called the Ru Yi Zhu. It transforms according to our wishes. And what does it do? It purges illness. 这个宝珠啊，有什么作用呢？它会治病，它会除病痛，它会去苦，有这种功德。It can get rid of suffering. That's one of the phenomenon of this. Now, the ancients talked about this wish-fulfilling pearl as coming from a fish, they said, a spirit shaped like a fish. And others say it comes from the brain of a dragon king, from the shards of a broken vajra that belonged to Lord Chakra, or from the transformation of Sharira in the dantian of a cultivator. 就说按照我们大藏经里边的不同的经典，就说这个如意宝珠是从一个像一条鱼的水神他的身体来的他的脑来的，有的大智度论这么说还有就说它是从龙王的脑子而出来的然后呢又说第10天这个天人他的一个金刚破碎的时候就一块就变成如意宝珠另外呢就说我们打坐如果有舍利子在我们的这个方寸里边那个真心里边都会变成如意宝珠所以你看哎呦很多很多的不同的说法另外呢又说这个琉璃是 Vaidurya 的一个 transliteration 就说我们中国人不能说 Vaidurya 所以就用琉璃2个字来讲我们就 identify 这个宝珠那个珠宝 OK Now let me tell you a story about dragons and pearls so it's said that among all the things in the world that dragons value, nothing matches their pearls. And in the Chinese Buddhist world, if you look at pictures of dragons, and they are pretty much everywhere in the Mahayana, you'll see that dragons focus on the pearl. All their attention is given to this item. It's very round and often there's flames coming out of the pearls and they are dragons just treasure these above all else and so there is the story about the dragon girl the daughter of the dragon king who at a young age comes to visit the Buddha and offers the Buddha her pearl. She is willing to part with the thing that she values the most in exchange for her prediction to Buddhahood. And the Buddha says, you will become a Buddha. He offers her a prediction to enlightenment. And of course, all the arhats are really upset because what? She's not even a human. She hasn't cultivated. Why do you give her this most valuable thing, this prediction, and not us? We've been cultivating such a long time. The Buddha says, because what you're willing to let go of doesn't match what she is willing to let go of, this thing she values the most. So the dragon girl's offering of her pearl to the Buddha was key to the story of the dragon girl's prediction. So when you see Guan Yin Bodhisattva, she has two young people around her. One is Shancai Tongzi, the youth Sudana. The other is Long Nu, the dragon girl. That's one of the stories behind her two youthful companions. 有个故事就讲这个如意宝珠怎么样入佛教的，我们的文化里边，就说龙王他们就据说嘛，他们最宝贵的东西就是宝珠。你看这个艺术家画的龙王，在佛教界里边总有一个宝珠。在那个龙的前边，是不是那个龙就注意？哦呀，好注意这个圆圆的这个珠宝，有的时候有火焰从那个珠宝发出来。这个就说有龙叫分不开、离不开这个宝珠。然后呢，我们知道有一次佛陀在讲法的时候，就来了一个小女孩。她是一个龙王的女儿，这个女孩子她就把一个东西就供养佛，是什么呢？是她的宝珠。然后就立地，佛就说：“哦，你将来都可以成佛，我给你一个级别好，我知道你将来都有机会成佛。”听到这个消息，这些大阿罗汉不高兴，不满意。怎么呢？这么一个年轻的女孩子，她有什么资格受到你的级别，说你将来成佛？我们修行那么多年，你没有给我们呢。可是呢，她一来了，你就给她封这个将来成佛的这个玉阶。他们不满意了。佛陀就说。因为他能舍得他最宝贵的，难舍能舍你们还没有到那个程度，所以不满意了。然后呢，我们看到观音菩萨总有两个年轻人在他旁边，是不是？一个是善财童子，一个是龙女，所以那个典故、那个故事都是从那里来的。Okay, so let's see here. Okay, there's also an information in Buddhism that says the Buddha whose name is born of jewels, Tathagata, and also the Guanyin Bodhisattva with the wish-fulfilling wheel, and Guanyin Bodhisattva who has the head of a horse, and Erstor Bodhisattva all hold wish-fulfilling pearls. And the function of each one is the same, which is to fulfill the wishes of living beings. Then it also says that in the western continent of Aparagodaniya, there are many of these wish-fulfilling pearls. Just in case you wanted to know, there's more information coming about these wish-fulfilling pearls. So back to our song. Ready? 但得般莫求莫，如今琉璃含宝月，既能解此如意珠，此理利他终不解。Once you get the root, you can let the branch tips be. Like a jeweled moon that shines in lapis lazuli, Now that you have brought to light this wish-fulfilling gem, your benefits to self and others truly never end. Your benefits to self and others truly never end. Singular. Let's reverse engineer that, put it back into prose. 我们再把它从句诵，从歌词又翻译长行。Once you realize the Tao, once you find your own Buddha nature's luminous source, there is no further goal to seek. You have found the genuine treasure. 当得本莫求莫. Don't worry about any other subsidiary matters. The enlightened mind shines like 1,000 suns. It is brilliant with the light of virtue, just like the bright patterns in lapis lazuli or Vaidurya. Now that the functions of the Chintamani, Earth Store Bodhisattva's pearl, Guanyin Bodhisattva's wish-fulfilling jewel, are yours to command, you can help yourself and help others in ways beyond your imagination. Oh yeah. 就说我们得到，你证道，证道歌，你证道 ，once you 你一找到你自信的光明，没有其他的就目的要求，已经到了无所求的地方，那个真正的珠宝你已经找到了，不要管旁的事情。不要管闲事这个你自信，我们自信就像1000个日子那么大光明明心见性就是这样子，就是道德光，道德的自信的光明现在发露了，就像什么，像宝琉璃净琉璃的这个模型，现在如意宝珠的功用是在你的手上，这是地藏菩萨的宝珠，观音菩萨的如意珠，你现在可以用它，所以自利，你帮助自己，利他，帮助其他人，你想不到是多么奇妙。Okay? Now, 师父, our teacher, wrote about the wish-fulfilling pearl in different ways. He said, 清香宝鼎画3000，如意金鳌有9万，善财龙女笑喧喧，佛教妙法入当参。Pristine incense in the jeweled censer transforms the universe. The wish-fulfilling golden owl fish roams the 9 harbors. Sudana and the dragon girl laugh out loud. You really should look into Buddhism's marvelous Dharma. This is from the 42 Hands and Eyes, and it's you just have the feeling that Shifu was saying, come on, don't you want this? This is so good. This is truly marvelous and wonderful. And yet, we just think, golly, what I experience when I meditate is pain in my knees. And here Shifu was talking about Buddhism's marvelous Dharma and this wish-fulfilling pearl. How come it seems so far away? I can't get past the pain in my knees to meditate. It's just, ouch, a lot of pain. What's going on? My mind is a mess. Every time I meditate, it just feels like it's just like a car that's not well adjusted. There's all kinds of smoke coming out the tailpipe. What's wrong? Doesn't it work, or is it a problem with me? Anybody, does that sound familiar to anyone? 商人在那个42首演的寄颂，他就说：清香宝鼎画3000，如意金鳌有9万。善财龙女笑喧喧，佛教妙法入当参。你看师父就把这个 如意宝珠啊，打坐，他就写的这么有光明，这么好玩，这么小悠悠啊。为什么我打坐啊，就是膝盖痛啊？哎呀，就把我的心，我打坐的时候，就等于汽车的这个马达，就这个机器呢不好调了，这个烟囱冒了很多黑色的气出来了，怎么呢？就好像我不会用功啊，我就不想打坐。师傅写的这么有意思，差别太大了。我是因为打坐不行的话，还是我自己不行？到底呢？是不是？大家有没有这个感觉了啊？So it's really a big gulf between what Shifu's writing about, the wonders of the wish fulfilling pearl, dragon girl, and Sudana, and my own experience of meditation. What's going on? So how does it work? Well, I wanted to share an idea. Maybe we're trying too hard. Shifu gives us clues, and I want to point to 3 of those clues that seem to point to a single function in the wish-fulfilling pearl, which may be a way to get it to work. Number 1, if we want this to work for us, we have to gather the light of virtue. The light is there, but if we kill, steal, lust, lie, drug ourselves, if we get all afflicted because of fighting and greed and seeking and selfishness and self-benefit, dishonesty, then the light will never accumulate. We will be losing it. The precepts are there to hold the light back. Those 6 guidelines are there to keep us from affliction so that the light can accumulate, so it'll stay there. It won't go away. We have all the light, but we throw it away. 所以呢，有什么区别呢？就说师父他给我们一些clue， 一些妙诀。第一呢，我们自信的光明都要保留。为什么要持戒呢？持戒是要保留我们自信的光明，道德光，不让它往外漏。不杀、不盗、不淫、不妄语、不饮酒，就是说保留我们本来具足的光明，不让它往外漏。不争、不贪、不求、不自私、不自利、不妄语，也是让我们没有那么大烦恼。这样子，这个光明不会浪费。好了，那我们就说已经有这个光明还在，没有丢。那就怎么做呢？ Okay, so let's say we've kept that light back so it isn't lost, it hasn't been scattered. How does it function? It seems to move. The wish-fulfilling pearl isn't necessarily static. Shifu would say one root scatters into the myriad branch tips. All the branch tips return to a single root. Sometimes Shifu would give us this phrase and then just kind of pass on. 一本三味万数，万数仍归一本. He would just describe it and then move on. But I have a sense, so 单得本莫求莫, that this verse is also giving us a clue about the motion of this pearl. Does that make any sense to you? If you're trying to hold it in one place, maybe we should let it go, not cling to it, not want it, not fear we've lost it, but let it function. Maybe there's something there. 上人在讲法的时候，尤其在打坐参禅那个时候，他都会提到一种运动。这种动作呢，就说一本三为万数。 万术仍归一本。他就说了，然后呢再不提。我就看那个但得本末秋末，如今六里航宝远，是不是我们的如意宝珠有活泼？不是像镜光明，不是好像寂静不动，不是，它有动作，就往外回来，就往外回来，有没有？Also, Shifu said, release it, and it fills the 6 directions. Bring it back, and it hides away in secret. Where is that? That's from the doctrine of the mean of Confucius. Look at that. Confucius talked about this function. He said, when you let it go, it just goes out perfectly round and full, but then you bring it back with a thought, and it seems to disappear, and yet it's there to send it out again. Seems to be the same kind of interesting basic motion, going out and returning, going out and returning. And that comes from the doctrine of the mean. Number 2, in the passage called the preface to Zhuzi. Okay, it says in the center, it scatters into the 10,000 things, and it comes back into a single thing, into one thing, into unity. That's the principle. You let it go, it fills up the 6 directions. You roll it up, and it comes back and hides away in secret. It says, its flavor is infinite. This is real study. So that's interesting that Shifu would point to this. Seems to be a similar kind of principle. 上人又提到中庸里边的这一句，他就说放置在密流河，卷至在退，藏于密。是不是一种动作就类似 similar 好像一样的这是中庸，这是孔老夫子的4书里边的中庸。那个朱子章继续就说放置在密流河，卷至在退，藏于密。听起来是我们不用抓它，不用留它，就放它，它自己就圆圆满满的六合然后呢就回来了简简单单的一念回来又放了，有没有？Then Shifu also taught this thing that he would say, nothing fails to come from this Dharma realm, and nothing fails to return to the same Dharma realm. The same kind of principle, interestingly, these 3 things were that Shifu would teach at different times, particularly around Chan, that there seems to be some sort of function. And I believe that Master Yongjia is giving us a clue that our wish-fulfilling gem actually has a function to it. It's not static. It's not still or dead. It actually pulses, kind of like a heart, like a heartbeat. I don't know, maybe give you something like that to work with. You have to find it yourself. You have to work hard and cultivate. Most important, though, is to work on the precepts, that first step, to keep the light back. If we don't lose it, then at a certain point, we can let it go, and it fills the universe, pull it back, and it hides away. 这个师父有的时候他就会说：“无不从此法界流，无不还归此法界。”听起来也是一个道理，一本三为万术，万术仍归一本，放置在弥流河，卷至在退藏于密，无不从此法界流，无不还归此法界，好像都是一个动作，是不是？我们先就跟着这个五戒，然后呢不让这个念头增长一些烦恼。跟着这个六大宗旨，然后呢，自然而然都会保留我们的自信光明。那个光明在那个时候，它开始有动作，有没有 每一个人自己去参这是我也不知道，有的人就觉得马上有一些缘分灵通，有的就莫名其妙。好的，如果可以用的话，请各位去研究去参。There we go. That's my gift for you. Last week it was the wisdom sword. This week it's the wish-fulfilling gem. Hope that people are able to get some value out of this. 上个礼拜呢是智慧宝剑这个礼拜是这个如意宝珠。两个这个正道歌里边的这些现象，两个法宝师父在给我们讲这个正道歌的时候，都会留下来给我们用。大家能用的话，希望你可以尽量用不能用呢，就慢慢来。我们都继续增长我们的自信光明然后呢，看看他的大智慧大慈悲，也是从那个地方来的。Okay, now what I wanted to say in the last few minutes is that next week, Dharma Master Jin Yong has also invited me to speak, and I wanted to use the time to review a piece of the Avatamsaka Sutra, a chapter called the 10 Transferences chapter, the 10 Dedications chapter. It's a very, very important practice in our Mahayana tradition. It's number 10 of Samantabhadra's Dharma treasures that every bodhisattva who wants to cultivate the way gets acquainted with, becomes skillful at, and then finally is able to use in marvelous ways. That chapter, I used to explain it every Sunday at CTDB. We got as far as the 6th transference. Halfway through, it's a long piece of the whole chapter, and because of travel, because of COVID, we stopped. So it's time to finish that work. It'll take quite a while to do it, but I wanted to start this coming Sunday night, reviewing, looking back, getting reacquainted with the material, and then continuing forward. So that will be a new old series of Avatamsaka Sutra lectures. We're going to make it interesting, hope to make it fun, so that people can look forward every week to learning more, listening to the Bodhisattva's transferences. We may include stories from the biography of great Master Xuanzang as he went to India to bring back the sutras. That was one of the practices that we had going before at CTDB, and I think we can start afresh. It's great stories, wonderful stories. And we may have visits from puppets or music. We'll see how we can make sure that people look forward to enjoying these lectures, and also having a banquet of Dharma for our wisdom, our Dharma body, and our wisdom life. 就说这个金庸法师也请我下个礼拜跟大家再来我们长期结束最后一天，我准备把这个华严经10回向品再给大家介绍。几年前我是经常星期天晚上在万法圣上讲这个10回向品，华严经的10回向品，因为就到海外去，还有因为 COVID 的关系了，所以就半途中就停留，已经讲到第6回向就停了，所以这个法讲经尊重经典要讲完了，不能就马马虎虎，所以我们一定要把这个10回向品讲完了。我准备在星期天晚上就跟大家讲解还有我们那个时候很多年就每次讲座都会补充 玄奘大师去印度取经的这个外传一些故事。这次我们会再介绍，从头开始讲解介绍各位这个知道玄奘大师他这个大的高僧，他的这个实在是很微妙的故事所以那个我们会补充也会用音乐让大家每个礼拜都会等待有机会再听华严经。Okay, so that's the plan. I hope folks will enjoy the opportunity to listen to the 10 Transferences chapter. 这个法门呢是这个普贤菩萨这个10大愿望的第10个，行菩萨道的人不能少。这个回向，这个要完全明白怎么运用这个回向这个功德。Okay, that's the plan. So, because China is currently experiencing a epidemic of COVID, and the rest of the world is having troubles with respiratory illnesses, tonight, as we finish our Chanqi Kai Shi, I'm going to invite everybody to use the Medicine Buddha mantra again to as our transference. Please make a wish, send out the merit to whomever or however you would like to dedicate it. And if it's to folks suffering from COVID in China, that's a perfect place to send it. But it is your 功德 how you want to send it out. 我们因为知道现在中国这个疫情很厉害，很严重那个其他的世界也有很多这个病痛的困难，所以我们继续把我们的药师观定真言翻文本翻这个印度话，我们翻文的版本，就来用这个当我们的回向。所以各位要发一个回向愿，你们回向给谁呢？怎么样回向？是你的功德、你的礼物、你的布施就是我们要用这个药师佛的愿力来回向。Okay, and this will conclude the lecture. When I'm done, I think Jin Yongshi may have something to say, but let's recite this 3 times. Please make your vow. 我们就念这个咒念3遍，来。 以一起礼佛有佛像在这。好，我再巧劲来。First bow, second bow, third bow. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Okay, that will do it for us for today. 阿弥陀佛 Happy holidays, everybody. 好了，我们就到此为止哈，大家圣诞节快乐，阿弥陀佛。
Thank you, 石法师 for this series of lecture on some enlightenment. 谢谢石法师给我们讲的这一系列的证道歌的开示，那么也谢谢大家的参与。Thank everyone's participation. Talk to everyone next week. 下礼拜见，阿弥陀佛。